Hey guys, welcome to this video. You&i here, and in today's Emblem video we're going to be talking about the Marksmen Talents, the Marksman Emblem itself. This was released pretty recently ago, I think maybe just before, just after they changed the emblem system. Just so you guys know, a little caveat, Marksman is actually my least favorite role in the game. Probably my weakest role as well, just because I don't play it all that much. So, but that being said, as I talked about in the emblem overview video, this talent page and this emblem set itself is just ridiculous. The stats on it are crazy compared to everything else. But so let's get into it real quick. So I'm gonna bring up the spreadsheet like I have for other, some of the other things we talked about. And so let's talk about what is your role as a marksman or an AD carry if you're coming from a league perspective, right? So you want huge sustained damage that's going to ramp up during a fight from a distance, right? So you want to be very squishy, glass cannon, blow people up. High attack speed, high physical attack, and lifesteal. Obviously, you know, crit plays a little factor, physical penetration plays a little factor as well, but those are the most important things in my opinion. Attack speed, physical attack, and lifesteal. Those are all the items you're going to build, you know, towards that. So let's take a look at the Marksman talent right now. Sorry, buddy, not playing right now. And explain just why it's so good. So you're just going to get a base attack speed increase of 7.5%. That's huge, right? 17 physical attack as well. 6 physical penetration. 5 crit chance. And 5 lifesteal. That's crazy compared to any of the other emblems out there just from those stats alone. So if we look at the overall, right, the overall sheet here, it has more physical attack than any of the other ones, including, I guess my keys don't work, including the assassin, right? You think the assassin would have more physical attack. The assassin has a ridiculous amount of penetration, but so there's a little bit anyways with the marksman one. 5% lifesteal, right? The next highest one is the jungle one at 2.5%. 5 is that's a lot. That's a lot, right? To get just from a base. 7.5 attack speed, right? The next one is 4.5 from jungle, so more than jungle. And then it's got 5% crit chance, right? Which is more than the assassin. So just on the base stats on there, this thing is amazing. Level it up as fast as you can. This is the emblem that you want to use for everything else you want to buy first if you only have dust and you don't have a lot of fragments or battle points. 6 physical penetration as well. You know, it's less than the assassin. It's a little bit more than the fighter, but, you know, second best in that field. And that's a lot, actually. 6 is a lot. You don't get a lot of penetration from items and stuff. No defensive stats, no healing, no movement, none of that, which is fine. You don't want that as a marksman, right? So let's go back and take a look at what you can get in addition to that. So if you take this right here, the category is saying what are the best bonuses that you would select, right? So if you're going to want to select the attack damage, the attack speed, right? So you're going to get 29 attack out of that. That's higher than any of the other ones, right? 29 to start the game with is ridiculous. That's like 2 swords. That is so much. You are at such an advantage at the beginning. In addition, having 5% lifesteal at the beginning of the game, that's a huge amount of sustain, right? Well, it's not a lot of sustain, but comparatively to having none, right? That's crazy good. Especially when you have 12% attack speed. 12%? That's like starting with the swift boots or whatever they are. Give you 15%, right? That's awesome. And 5% crit chance and 6% penetration, right? So what are going to get you those from the talent page, right? So you're going to go with the bravery, and then you're going to go with the swift down here is what's going to give you the additional effects there. So you could go with greed with lifesteal, but the reason I would go with bravery over that is because percentage lifesteal is based on how much damage you do. So if you're dealing more damage, you're going to get more lifesteal, right? So this is an extra 12 physical attack. You know, the lifesteal you have, the 5% is going to come off of that in addition to, you know, the other attacks you have. So say you have 100 attack, right? 100 attack, and you pick greed as opposed to bravery, right? So let's just round greed up. Say greed gives you 5% with 3 points in here, right? So that is 5 health per hit, right? health per hit. Okay, well let's add on. Actually, let's add on this 5 over here. Say you have the emblem maxed up, right? So you have 10% passive lifesteal. We're just rounding, right? So you're gonna get 10 health per each hit because each hit does 100 damage. That's what we're assuming, right? Okay, so add physical attack to that. So say you get 112, right, at 5%. So 112 is going to give you more damage up front, which is more important than lifesteal, because if you kill someone, you don't really need to sustain, right? You'd rather kill someone than be sustaining off of someone and take longer to kill them, right? So that's where this comes in as well. So you're going to get 5% off of this 12 attack as well, right? As opposed to 10% off of 100, you're going to get 5% off of 112. You know, it stat-wise, it works out a little better in my opinion, right? You can argue that, feel free. Unless you're playing someone like Ruby, I would pick Bravery. Why are we not picking Fatal? Once again, for the same reason, right? If you do get a crit chance with this 12 attack, it's going to do more damage, right? As opposed to having a small amount of crit percentage, right? So you could run the numbers. This crit chance might be different, but these are pretty close, right? But I would pick the Bravery. Okay, so let's talk about the next set. So Doom, crit damage, 4.5%. Okay, so when we'll talk about the assassin, this is pretty dang good for an assassin where you want to blow people up, right? So if you have 3 points in this is 13.5% extra damage on your crits. You combine that with the Berserker's Fury item that gives you 40% more attack damage, excuse me, just overall damage from your crit strikes. It's really good, but I would pick attack speed, right? More attack speed, once again. I would pick a consistent attack speed over this. But once again, that's arguable. Mastery right here. Cooldown reduction, you're a marksman, right? So your skills are based to assist you. Your main thing that you want to be doing is hitting people with your basic attack, right? So I wouldn't pick this one up. Now, 4% with 3 points in here, 4.5% is a decent amount of cooldown reduction, but you would want to use a different emblem, in my opinion, if you're looking for cooldown reduction. You're not going to be using the marksman one. You're not going to be playing a marksman. So let's talk about the final talents on here. Weapon Master, an extra 8% from gear, extra physical damage from 8% from gear. That's crazy good, right? And it only takes level 20 to get. Hot Pursuit. This is a win more. I discussed this. 30% increased attack speed, lasts 5 seconds on kills and assists. Well, if you killed someone, do you really need the attack speed? Sure, this is really good in late game when you're doing team battles, but it doesn't really help you snowball in the early game, in my opinion. You know, because you already got the kill. You already got the kill. You're already ahead, right? So it's a win more for 5 seconds in that situation. I'd rather take the 8% overall to help me get that first kill, right? And then Weakness Finder, this is crazy good, right? Of course, it requires level 40. You know, you can choose this on a case-by-case basis. Basic attack has 20% chance of reducing target's movement speed 90% and attack speed by 50, and has a 2-second cooldown. So you're constantly doing this basically. This is crazy good, right? This is slowing down people. This is great for kiting. This is great for getting away. This is great for stopping people from getting away. This is crazy. So I'd pick between these two. Okay, so once again, we went through the other day and we talked about, okay, where should you get this to if you're going to buy this emblem? I would say level 30. So let's determine real quick how many battle points you're going to need to get this guy to level 30. So level 30, it's going to cost you around 300 battle points. And then it's going to cost you around 4,000 fragments or dust, right? That's very easy to do, and you can see I'm only at level 25, but you get crazy good stats. At level 30, it is arguably even better than the physical one, right? Because at level 30, you're going to have, you know, the combination of these two things, you're going to have like 30 attack or something like that, right? Which is already more than you get from the physical one at level 60. You're going to have... probably like 4% attack speed, right? Which you got 9 over here. Okay, that's decent. But you have this ability, the Weapon Master, down here as well, which is really good. Penetration, lifesteal, da-da-da. So get this to 30 at least if you're playing Marksman. So now let's talk about what you can do if you don't have this upgraded. Compare it to the other emblems side by side to see which one is better. Like I said, let's compare it to the physical real quick. So let's compare the fully upgraded physical to the not upgraded marksman, right? Or I mean, we can't do that in this thing over here. But let's just say if you don't have this one upgraded, and I recommend Weakness Finder, like I said earlier. Okay, so the physical, what's it going to give you for marksman? You're going to get 9% attack speed, 2% crit chance, and 14 attack, right? Okay, decent amount of attack speed, and you're going to use the open fire ability, right? Which gives you dealing damage with skills, increases physical attack by 5% for 3 seconds. Okay, it's like a 2.5% increase over everything, right? I mean, that's okay. That's decent. Like, I use this right now because the marksman is not upgraded. Once I get the marksman upgraded a little bit more, but I would say the marksman half upgraded is probably equivalent to the physical upgraded all the way, right? So stop upgrading the physical one and start upgrading the marksman one and just use the marksman one, right? Because already you can see the difference in stats here. The physical one's not going to give you any lifesteal. Yeah, so that's the comparison there. Let's talk about the jungle one. Now, obviously, if you're going to be spending a lot of time in the jungle and your team is going to support you with that, you can skill into the jungle one because your battle spell, typically people who run marksman run retribution, right? And so you can tech into jungle so that you can farm faster and stuff. That would be great. That's a case-by-case basis. But let's just say you're running pure marksman, right? What would you get? You get 25 physical attack, 2.5% life steal, and 9% attack speed, as well as 6% movement speed, right? Like those are the best stats that I would suggest you'd pick there. Okay, the 6% movement speed is actually pretty freaking cool. Being able to move and kite and all that stuff. And as you can see, comparing this one to the physical over here, you're getting lifesteal as well as a lot more attack. So that's pretty dang powerful. That actually would be your second choice. If you have the jungle one all the way upgraded, you don't have the marksman one, use the jungle one over the physical one. The only problem is that your last talent on there for the jungle one is not going to be that great, right? So let's take a look at it. Unless you're going into the jungle, which once again, we're putting that aside. We're not considering that. I say that you're going to do Mage Hunter. This is going to let you take down turrets faster, and it's going to let you help on assists for Lord and Turtle, right? So if you're playing like a YS, like a Yi Sun Shin or something where he gets really powerful in the mid to late game and can solo Lord, easily solo if you're playing an AD carry with this Mage Killer ability. Other considerations, Wild Power, Retribution, Slow Effects increases, and you can do a little bit of damage with it. Okay, so this will help you take down heroes that are trying to run away, but you're most likely going to be able to take them down anyways if you're attacking them with your physical attack with a slow ability coming from an item or something like that. And you have the additional movement speed coming in from this, where is it? This one right here. Oh, no, it's just coming from the basic, the basic emblem itself. Veteran Hunter, killing a jungle monster by last hit, retribution grants 40 gold. Okay, you can consider that. I don't see that as great, because how many times are you going to get that? Probably once per minute. Extra 40 gold, I don't know. Anyways, just in this consideration, the jungle one would be the second preference for a marksman if you do not have the marksman talent all the way built up with the Mage Killer ability. Alright, let's talk about the Assassin one. Okay, so the good thing about the Assassin one is you're going to get a ton of penetration, you're going to get a ton of physical damage, and you're going to get some crit chance as well. Tiny bit of a bit of movement speed, right? So that's really good if you want to build like a crit build or something like that, but you're missing out on the attack speed and the lifesteal, which are pretty critical. So that would be the third choice, I would say, and that's decent, right? So it's not bad either if you have this upgraded. So first marksman, second jungle, third assassin, and let's talk about the ability you would use for the marksman from the assassin. Bounty Hunter, you get extra gold from heroes. Okay, that's cool if you're getting kills during the game. Yeah, so that's what I picked, right? Because assuming you're the marksman and your team is letting you get the kills and stuff, you're going to get a lot of gold in the game from that. Other things you can do, High and Dry, increases damage by 6% on the main hero when he's the only hero nearby. Very rare that's going to happen to you as a marksman. Usually you're rolling with your tank or support or something, and you're fighting in lane, 2v1, stuff like that. Killing Spree, slaying an enemy hero grants 8% HP, increases movement speed. Okay, that's pretty dang good for the late game. Once again, this is a win more pick, just like the second ability over here, right? And I would pick the Hot Pursuit over the Killing Spree. I'd rather kill someone first instead of having to struggle harder to kill someone and then getting benefits after. So Third choice is going to be the assassin. Let's talk about the fighter. So the fighter, you're going to get a good amount of physical attack, half of the attack speed of one of these, which is not, it's not very much. A little bit of physical penetration. Yeah, 5, okay, whatever. And then you're going to go with disabling strike. So skills have an extra slow chance effect, lasts 2 seconds. Not really good. You're a marksman. You're using your, basic attack. You're not really using your skills. Most of your skills already have a slow effect on them if you're playing a marksman, or you have a movement speed that you can get close to people. So the fighter one is probably, honestly, well, let's take a comparison right there. Would you pick the fighter one over the physical? Probably not, because of the open fire ability, but maybe. They're pretty comparable. So these are both pretty much the worst for marksman if you have them fully upgraded, right? Let's talk about the other talents are there. Unbending Will, every 100 HP loss increases damage by 2% up to 10%. If you're taking damage as a marksman, typically you're gonna die, right? Like, your goal is not to be taking damage, to be poking from a distance and your tank taking damage, right? 10% HP loss is a lot of health on a marksman, right? You don't have a lot of health. Your health pool is very small. So in order to get this, you need, of the 10%, you need to lose like 3,000 health. That's going to put you, probably around 1,000 health left, right? You're going to get blown up by an assassin and dead, so that's not really going to matter. Steady like a rock when being CC'd reduces CC duration by 5% for 2 seconds, 10% da-da-da-da-da. If you get CC'd as a marksman, you're dead, right? You don't want to be in front of the battle. So fighter, not that great. Might be a little better than the regular one. Okay, so that kind of concludes these. Once again, let's just summarize. Marksman, best talent, best talents, best skills just off of buying it, best emblem in general for the game. I'll keep reiterating that. Upgrade this as soon as you can. At least get it to level 30. Right, and at level 30, it's arguably better than just the physical one for using on a marksman, right? After that, if you don't have this one upgraded, you have another couple ones upgraded, use the jungle one. After the jungle one, use the assassin one. And if after that one, use probably the fighter, then the physical, right? But if you're like me, I'm just using the physical right now because I don't have any of the other ones upgraded. And pretty soon, I'm getting close to it. I'm going to be able to upgrade the marksman one to above 30, and I'll be picking that. So I hope this makes sense for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, which ones you use, any discrepancies you believe, or any disagreements. It's fun to talk these things out. It's very technical. Once again, little caveat. These emblems, they do help a lot in the early game, right? Something like this Weapons Master helps a lot more in the late game. But me, I'm looking for big advantage at the early game, right? And then advantage in the late game, because the middle game is kind of all over the place, right? So typically what happens in this game, as I find, is that I either really win in the early game, right? And then the game's over, right? The enemy team cannot come back. That's how most of the games go, is that one team snowballs in the beginning. And then I would say, probably about 30% of the other team, right? It's back the other time. It's back and forth, and you end up getting into this stalemate thing where you're being very technical and you get into the late game, right? So I don't really care about the mid game. I want advantage of the early game or advantage in the late game. And something like this ability is really good in the late game, because I know that if I'm losing and I'm not getting absolutely just murdered by the enemy team, but I'm losing by a couple kills or something, I can stall out, be smart, and wait until the late game where things like this Weapon Master will take into effect. But I want to start off the beginning of the game with the best stats possible and snowball out of control. I don't want win more stats. I want to win at the beginning. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And next one I think we'll be talking about might be the Assassin or something like that. But tune in for that, and peace out. We'll see you again later.